Hello guys, back with another video. Had a couple things I wanted to show you. Everybody knows I'm a big Canterbury fan. I like to support his site and the work that he does. And I got on Pathfinder store, ordered one of his 7-inch Old Hickory butcher knives. Well, it came in the mail yesterday. I wanted to show it to you guys today. Now this is another knife. When it came, was real shiny finish and brushed. And as I said in my previous video, I don't like a shiny blade, and part of that is tactical. I don't like a shiny blade because I don't want something silver and sparkly always giving away my position. And it's not so much defense, but probably, you know, wildlife, things like that. But I don't want a real shiny blade. So I did the forced patina on this blade the same as I did the other. And I'm kind of really happy with the result. Only thing I would have changed with this knife is I'd like if it did come with some kind of a sheath. This one doesn't. It does come with a pretty good edge. Not razor sharp by any means, but it is definitely a sharpened edge. It's got the Old Hickory stamped on the handle. Ontario Knife Company on the blade, made in the USA. And now these Ontario Knife Company is actually New York City. That's where these blades come from. But they are American made blades, even though it does say Ontario Knife Company. So I just wanted to clear that up. There's another knife kind of like this that comes from Chicago Knife Company. This one happens to be from Ontario. Ontario Knife Company has been in operation putting out knives handcrafted like this. High carbon steel, good quality blades, I believe since 1889, and so far I'm really happy with this. But like I said, I didn't like the color, I didn't like the shiny, so I did use the vinegar patina. And one thing I did notice about this knife versus the other knife that I usually carry, the hunting knife, that one took hours for the patina to develop. This knife went to a really dark patina right out of the packaging in less than 20 minutes. And I did also notice, if you look at the knife, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but there are some places in the patina that are almost gold color. It's an off color from the rest of the blade. And I was wondering what could have caused that. And I got to realizing that I'm 99% sure that after the blade came out of the vinegar bath, that's where I touched the blade with my fingertips. That's where I handled it. It changed the color on the blade. Instead of that smoked gray patina that I've got on the rest of the blade, right there is almost a gold color. It's a little bit different. Now I could redo this if I wanted to, but really personally I don't really care that it is that color. All I have to do is take the buffer pad that's on my cordless drill. I could buff this all off and get this knife right back to the way it was out of the package yesterday, and I could repatina this knife in less than half an hour and have it all one solid color. But I don't mind the blade having some character, and I think that's exactly what it gives it. But I do know my wife's blade, I ordered 2 of these, and I ordered them the same day. Mine came yesterday. Hers should be here today. If we do the forced vinegar patina on her blade, I know now that I'm going to have to be real careful with touching the blade in any way, shape, or form, at least with bare fingertips. And we'll see if the patina job on that knife comes out better, more uniform, without that discoloration. I'm really thinking that's what caused it. I'm not 100% sure, but I am 99% sure. Now, like I said, this knife didn't come with a scabbard, but I imagine it wouldn't be too awful hard to fashion one. And matter of fact, the wife and I were talking about it today. She's standing right over here, but we were talking about it today, and we are going to make scabbards for these blades. One, it's a good project to do, and 2, you appreciate it more because it's something you crafted, not something you went out and picked up at a local store. and it'll help give the blade a little more protection. This patina is supposed to keep the blade from rusting. Not 100%, but it's supposed to give it some rust resistance. And like I said, so far with the other knife, I've not gotten one single spot of rust on that blade. Her knife, same way. I did the vinegar patina on her hunting knife as well. Her blade looks the same now as when it did, right after it came out of the vinegar bath. Now, we also have a 1095 high carbon steel machete. It is not painted, the blade is not powder coated, it is not treated, it is not stainless. Now, that machete, laying right next to her knife in the fifth wheel that we have over here on the property, inside, on the countertop, temperature dropping at night below dew point. You get up and, 10 o'clock at night, you're walking around and grass is soaking wet. Now, her knife and this machete sitting side by side, the machete is rusted pretty bad on the blade. I'm going to have to clean that blade yet again. Her knife, on the other hand, looks just like this. Matter of fact, I happen to be carrying her knife at the very moment. And this is the patina that we did on her knife. You can see it's a very nice smoke gray color. But her knife, sitting right next to that machete, has not got a single bit of rust anywhere on this blade. Now, that tells me that this patina is actually doing its job. It is actually really helping to repel rust. Now, I'm not saying it's foolproof. I'm not saying if you got this blade soaking wet or dropped it in, a pond or down in the bottom of a creek or a stream and you found it and retrieved it 2 or 3 days later, I'm not saying this knife wouldn't rust. But at least from exposure to moisture and humidity so far, it's performed very, very well. I'm very pleased with it, and thus far, I'm very happy with the patina process, dipping these blades, these high carbon steel unfinished blades, in the white vinegar and doing the forced acid patina. Now, once you get your knife to the color it's going to be, like I said in a previous video, these knives were this color at 3 hours. 10 hours later, they were still at this same color, this same level of patina. So once they get as far as they're going to go, they're not going to go any further. It's very important that you do not touch the blade, because we learned that with my Old Hickory, it discolored the blade. Anywhere that vinegar is, it's causing a chemical reaction. The acidity in the vinegar is causing a chemical reaction on the steel that will make this colored patina, and it did discolor. So if you're going to do this, take your knives out of the vinegar bath. Do not touch them with your fingers. Give them a real good washing in just plain water, plain cool water. Wipe the blades down real good with a cloth. Wash them, dry them, everything else before you ever touch the blade again, to avoid that discoloration that I now have on my Old Hickory butcher knife. There was also one other thing that I wanted to cover, because I find it honestly mildly annoying. There's a whole bunch of videos on YouTube, Old Hickory's making a comeback. This company, Ontario Knife Company, is doing really well. These knives are selling very well. They're very versatile, and they're just a good quality knife to have around thus far. These knives are what we call trendy. And every other video you see about Ontario Knife Company or Old Hickory brand knives is some guy on his channel with this knife, batoning this knife through the biggest log he can find. It's nice to know that the knife can do that job. But honestly, guys, that's not what this is meant for. Just because something can be used in a way doesn't always mean that it should. There are other ways of splitting a 3.5, 4-inch piece of wood, even out in a situation where you're out like this. I mean, take a piece of flint and drive it in on one side of the stick, right in the center, lengthways. Drive you a piece of flint in, that will start to split, and you can take pieces of cedar like this shaved into wedges and pound them down. You can split a log all the way across and not possibly mess up a knife. Now these are tough knives. Yes, you can baton this knife through 4 inches of hickory. Should you? In my opinion, not unless you absolutely have to. So, guys, I mean, stop going on YouTube and intentionally abusing your tools just to prove a point. You know, there are already a score of videos showing that yes, an Old Hickory knife, even the new Old Hickory knives, not the ones from 40, 50 years ago, but even the new Old Hickory knives will baton, you know, a log in half. But if you've got a splitting awl, if you've got an axe, if you've got your hatchet, if you've got sledgehammer and wedge, you know, there are 1,000 other ways that you could perform that task in a camp situation, a survival situation, or sustainability situation without using your good knife for the task. If you can avoid that, by all means, do avoid it. There's a proper tool for every job, and you know, when you're batoning a 3.5 inch log in half, if you have no choice, this is your go-to. But only if it is your last resort, guys. You can use it that way, doesn't always mean you should. Alright guys, I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. I'll get another video out to you as soon as I can, but for now, I'm going to shut this camera down, find out how this one come out, and go get a few things done over here on the farm. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for your views and your comments, and thank you for your support.